A renaissance of wood as a building material has propelled an unprecedented wave of creativity and architectural joy. Elaborate, minimalistic, large and small, beautiful wooden buildings are emerging everywhere in our living environment.
Wood is unique in so many ways. No two pieces can be the same. Each piece is like fingerprints. It's nature's fingerprints. And I think that because of that uniqueness, that specialness of wood and the diversity of types, it means it's something that we care about more, and it's something that for me is passed from generation to generation to generation, whether it's a piece of furniture, a toy for a child, or ultimately a beautiful wood building.
Most often in wooden buildings there's some kind of combination of structure and architecture, meaning that the, for example, rhythm of the structure makes the architecture. So you don't have to try too much, it somehow comes naturally.
I think it's almost like a blank page. I think with the new technologies arriving, the new ways of actually shaping the wood, treating the wood, I think the mind and the heart are the limits, basically.
In Finland, more than 500,000 cottages are scattered around the country's thousands of lakes. Each year, a few thousand more are built, mainly out of wood. 90% of all new single-family houses are also made from wood. However, the true potential of wood is lost when building taller. Currently, only around 5% of new multi-story buildings in Finland are built out of wood. One reason for the slow development in the sector has been regulation.
Suuri syy Suomessa, että ei ole rakennettu, niin se johtuu siitä, että palomääräykset ei sallinut yli 2 kerrosta korkeampia. 1997 muutettiin meidän palomääräykset, että puusta voi rakentaa 4 kerrokseen saakka, ja 2011 muutettiin, että voi rakentaa 8 kerrokseen saakka. Jotta palosäädöksiä on voitu muuttaa, niin pitää olla konstit, että millä tavalla rakennetaan. Ne tekniset ratkaisut pitää olla kunnossa.
Furthermore, replacing concrete with wood can reduce emissions during the construction phase by 20 to 30%. Currently, the construction industry is changing, driven, among other factors, by the requirements of carbon neutrality, resource efficiency, and urbanization.
Architecture is on very interesting phase at the moment. Every year there will be taller and taller wooden building, which tells that new technologies in building in wood are developed all the time. At the same time, in, for example, chemistry, we are developing new solutions, the wood-based solutions for fire retardants and many important things in building taller wooden buildings.
Today, we're in a whole new era. It's not the Industrial Revolution, it's the climate revolution. It is about how we build for the next generation, and it's about a systemic change. And it's going to take breaking through the height and building in a new way, and building and proving that it's possible.
Architects play a crucial role in making the industry more sustainable.
The first question I have to ask is it right to even build a new building? Or is it better to find another building that exists and just adapt it? That's the more sustainable approach. But then when I choose to make a building, I have to go through a whole series of steps and questions about how I can make that building as low impact today and as low impact over its entire life. And how can I make it and design it in a way that ensures that from generation to generation people will care about it or change it because it's been designed to be changed. That's real sustainability to me, and wood fits right into that puzzle.
The properties of wood and the new wood products that enable, for example, prefabricated construction, offer a wide range of advantages for new construction, infill, and renovation. Nevertheless, extending the life cycle of buildings remains a major challenge.
In average, the age of Finnish building, any building, is something like 42 years, which is far too low age, and that's why we should make buildings that are longer usable.
Many buildings are demolished ahead of time, far sooner than their technical lifespan. So if we don't need to build so many buildings, then we don't need so much resources in the first place, which is the underlying reason is we're just consuming too much of our resources.
And that's a unique responsibility to be an architect, above and different than any other design profession. We have to build with a vision for centuries, not for a decade. And I think it's a beautiful aspect of the privilege I'm given to be an architect, to be able to think in centuries.
Buildings are hybrid by default, which is challenging for use after demolition. More than 60% of the waste produced by the construction industry is wood. At Aalto University, researchers across disciplines are working toward a better understanding of the properties of recycled wood in an effort to improve repurposing of construction waste.
So we recycle that in a materials cascade. So we ideally reuse that material in the same existing, for the same function it had before, if it's of suitable quality, during which time it's carbon dioxide that's not going into the atmosphere, it's being stored away, and it's substituting other materials.
We should also design for deconstruction more, that we really have the possibility to maybe reuse individual components, or that we at least have the possibility to gain most out of the demolished parts.
And a lot of that is tied to the designing and architectural process, in which you can kind of create these elements or building components that can be fastened and unfastened so that they can be reused or moved or kind of repurposed. A good example of that is this Pico Finlandia building in Lennahti in Helsinki. It provided a temporary space while the renovations were being completed at Finlandia Hall. But what's really great about this building is that it's all made out of these wooden components that can be removed off the site after the building has no more use, and rebuilt as a new building, as a school in the next coming years.
In order to achieve a green transition in the building sector, wide collaboration across industries is required, and a strong focus on education.
If you want to tackle the environmental challenge that building sector is creating, I think the only way is to cooperate. And on that cooperation we need everybody from the building sector, not only the wood people, but of course the concrete industry, steel industry, and such, since more or less all the materials are needed.
And I think we can achieve circular economy or way smarter ways of using the material by better collaborating, basically. So communication becomes key there, and not only communication between people, but communication of the intent of the space or the creation that we are doing, basically.
I think one of the ways to develop wood architecture is that you really start to focus on it. And there's several examples in the world that architects and engineers are turning more and more to wood. So gaining knowledge, which is the strongest power in the world, is the only way of developing construction sector in general.